신작으로 나온다는 이제 라이엇에서 네, 발로란트 그 당시에는 프로젝트 A로 이렇게 나왔었는데 굉장히 기대하고 있었고, 그리고 나오면은 그냥 이유가 없었어요. 그냥 무조건 해야겠다, 해봐야겠다라고 생각을 해서 한국에서 주어지는 첫 국가대표로 이제 발탁돼서 나간 대회이기 때문에 저는 사실 그 전 대회들은 개인적으로는 의미가 없다고 생각했어요. 개인적으로 너무너무 특별하다고 생각하고, 일단 저희가 1차 마스터즈는 준우승을 했거든요. 챌린저스 했던 것보다 더 2배 이상 네, 열심히 해야 될 것 같아요. 저희 막내 서제스트 선수가 경기를 만약에 지게 되면 굉장히 분해하고, 네, 혼자 막 열받아 있진 않은데 그래도 막 그냥 경기 지면 침대에 가서 그냥 안 나오고 약간 네, 많이 분해하는 것 같아요.
세계 대회라 솔직히 안 떨릴 수는 없을 것 같아요. 너무 큰 대회다 보니까. 일단은 저희가 초반에는 많이 어려웠고 팀도 합도 잘 안 맞고 했는데 계속 경기를 치르면서 저희가 부족한 게 뭔지 알게 됐고, 이제 서로 간의 시너지, 합이 맞춰지면서 첫 번째로 상대를 파악하는 능력과 이제 좀 순간적인 플레이어들의 개인기가 좀 많이 필요할 것 같아요. 무조건 결승까지는 가야 된다고 생각해요.
국가대표로 왔으니까 저희도 최대한 좋은 모습 보여드리려고 노력하고 지금도 많이 연습을 하고 있고.
And we're back as we continue to ride the wave of the upper bracket. Our next and final match of the day will be a rather good one. It's going to be Brazil's YNG Sharks taking on Korea's NUTURN. Now, let's go ahead and break down the Sharks first. And Lothar, for those who don't know about this Brazilian squad, how would you best describe them as a team?
You know, first and foremost, for me, this is another Cinderella story when it comes to Valorant. This is a team that came out of nowhere. They come from Brazil. They got signed to this Portuguese organization. But in general, they started as Squad 5. This is a similar story to what we have seen with Fish 123 in Europe, with Summon FC. They played under a just free agents banner, right? But they stick to one lineup. They went through the first challenger stage. They didn't go like super, like, let's say hypersonic. They got to top 8, but that's about it. They made a one lineup change to the 5, and then they got signed in the next stage. So I'm looking forward to this team because those teams, I know they work hard because they know where they got it. They got it just because of their hard work.
Yeah,
you know?
and Lothar, to continue to expand on that, I mean, Brazil is a formidable region in TAC FPS. Actually, I believe NIP just winning the Rainbow Six Invitational, which is incredible. 2 Brazilian teams in the final there. We know that Brazil has had a lot of presence in Counter-Strike as well. So they're really looking to not just continue that dominance of a region in TAC FPS, but also they, are looking to push the pace here as well. How do you feel about them as far as like their maps goes? Like, where are going to be their pros and their cons, would you say?
Well, the pros are, when it comes to their stats, you see that they are very good in attack, which is not something. Would you say that about Brazilian teams? Probably would say that about Brazilian teams because they're very good in attack. But the stats don't exactly show that because the last maps that they played against was against Team Vikings. They got blown, 3-0 against them. They played against Furier Esports. They lost against Vikings again, but they won against Gamelanders. And so the stats are a little bit in shambles. But in general, what you can read from it is they have a very good star player, whereas Prozen is actually playing really well for the entire team. But there's one thing that I really am worried about Sharks, and this is the map. They never played Split in the past 20 minutes.
One time.
Right, so they insta-ban it. And then the Icebox is 1 in 5, Bind is 1 in 3, and when you look at NUTURN, they actually dominate on Bind, Split, and Ascent. So the map pool is not looking good for Sharks. And how do they want to counter that? I'm actually not sure, but they had a lot of time to prepare for this first LAN event.
You know what, Golden Boy? I don't even think it even matters, like, at the end of the day, because this is going to be the first time here at the VCT Masters we're going to see a true clash of polar opposites of play styles. We know the Sharks are mad aggressive. They're coming from Brazil, right?
Yeah.
You take a look at NUTURN as well. They're passive. This is a team that isn't afraid to put just one person on the site all the way in the back. So even though the Sharks, they have pretty much a bad record when it comes to attack, like Lothar was saying. I expect them to utilize that Sky and Sova combo that we see on Bind, utilize that information, even if they didn't use it much often against Brazilian teams. Now it's going to be the time to change it up, because if they can catch Sharks, if they can catch NUTURN on their back foot, they can just steamroll through a site and just worry about their post plans.
Yeah, I cannot preface this enough, folks. What we're about to watch is something really special, because we're going to see a team from Asia face off against a team from Brazil. Like, this is it's not North America or Europe or no, like, this is truly two different, unique regions. And I know that Achilles has been chomping at the bit to talk about NUTURN, the team from Korea. And Achilles, this is your turf. So what kind of style are they going to be bringing to this competition?
Let me out of my cage. Let me talk. Yeah, no, this is going to be amazing. We know Brazilian teams are touted for their aggression. NUTURN is a lot more defensive of a squad. They will give space to the opponents. It almost seems like they prefer to put themselves in an attacking position even when they're playing defense. They will give up a site and then just rely on playing for a retake, and they're so good at it. Even if they do get into a site cleanly, when they are on the attack, their defensive setups from there are phenomenal. They've got great combos coming through. They've got amazing synergy on this roster, and I worry that Sharks is not going to be able to really deal with this, because they are limited in their map pool. NUTURN, like just about every map, they're good at it. The only one that comes up a bit short is going to be Icebox, where I think they're 1-2 so far in 2021. But the 2 losses, I believe, were to Vision Strikers, I'm pretty sure. So that was their stomping ground. That was the map that nobody wanted to play Vision Strikers on. But when you take a look at Haven, they're so very comfortable there. They've bested Vision Strikers on that map. They're great at Ascent. They're great, especially at Bind. I don't know what Sharks is going to have to do in the map draft to try to get any kind of advantageous position. I think no matter where they try to put NUTURN, NUTURN is going to have the upper hand.
Yeah, they're going to be prepared for whatever is thrown at them. You can see right there in the stats, 83.3 win percentage on Bind, 24 games played, 22 on Ascent. I mean, these guys have dominated. But to that point, though, Icebox certainly going to be a bit of a question mark, not just for Sharks, but for any team that they run into moving forward here. And Vel, look, there's one player in particular on NUTURN that everyone is very excited to see. You wanted to talk about him in great detail. What is it about Solo that has everyone talking about this Korean squad?
Well, Solo is basically the perfect team player. If you take a look at maps like Bind and look at what he does, okay? He's going to don Breach often. And the thing is, Solo isn't just an individual player. Unlike what we saw earlier on in this event where players were just, peeking by themselves, this time around, if you're going against NUTURN, expect to have Solo right behind his teammates, offering flashes, fault lines, even his rifle for any type of refrag or trade. He is always going to be dependable. And the thing is, Solo is known to take over games in that way. So by having the support player that's able to dominate from the back lines, that frees up so much players for their freedom to just frag out and have their way in the front lines.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. There's Solo. I think I had an accident. So much of my smoke has been just irradiating from my body.
Welcome to my world.
It should have been green.
Yeah.
Should have been green.
It should have been green. That was a great
gotta get the green
opportunity
light in there.
for us to do the Viper's Pit right here. You know what I mean? But I do the Viper's Pit in the bathroom every day, baby. You know what I'm saying? Anyway,
Come
on,
GB. It's
I'm
that
sorry.
classy stream.
I'm sorry, there had to be one. I had to do it at least one time. Okay, so now for those of you who are at home, be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram if you dare for more great jokes like that. For the latest news, highlights, memes, and most importantly, the chance to participate in our polls. We want to hear from you because you guys have predicted that NUTURN will win with 63%. Interesting. So let's go down the line. Let's start here. NUTURN, the fans have spoken. Veli, who do you think is walking away with this series win?
I don't think NUTURN has faced a team as aggressive. I mean, Achilles might just call me stupid for that, but as aggressive as these Brazilians, I'm going all the way for YNG Sharks. I believe in my boys, so I'm rocking with them. It's going to be 3 maps.
Okay, all right. Achilles, I think I know who you're picking.
NUTURN 2-0.
Woof, spice, love it. So we actually
I'll leave it at that.
We got NUTURN here. A lot of NUTURN love. Lothar, your thoughts?
I would say also NUTURN. It's going to be 2-1, a close match, but I'm emotionally connected to NUTURN because they have 2 players over 30. They are not as old as me, but they're pretty close, 30 and 33.
Boomers unite. All right, well, that's going to do it for us here, guys. We're going to send it over to Iceland. We're going to send it to your casters. We got Doug and Riv on the call. It's time to throw down. NUTURN versus Sharks.
Thanks, Golden Boy. I am Doug, and alongside my dear friend, Rivington Bruce Bislin III. Riv, baby, we've been waiting for this all day. We've been giddy. We can't stop grinning, and the moment has finally arrived.
I'm so excited to see this matchup because coming in pound for pound, I'm not a Scrimbucks guy. I'll tell you that right now. No fluff, no nothing here. Pound for pound, NUTURN matches up better against Sharks going in. But what do we look at for Sharks here? They're a team that came through defeating Gamelanders, defeating Furia, and almost being able to find that and routing Vikings on the way here. And they have players that are experienced here, Doug. They have Prozen and Leitch, who have both been Crossfire World Champions. They've had that kind of stage experience. You have Gobshis, who's also been in a position where he's been going to World Championships, but he's never been able to travel there. So, Doug, this is the first one he's able to make it to. Sharks has so much to prove here, and I think they're ready. We're going to see our players.
You can feel the anticipation, like you can feel the excitement even not being in the venue as the players start to walk out onto the stage. Again, a highly anticipated matchup, a clash of regions. We don't know really what to expect from NUTURN here. We don't know what to expect from Sharks. So this is, I know this is, as I was looking at the bracket early on, this is the one that I had starred because there's just so much that's unknown. There's so much that we're going to get to see. And again, we've talked about the competing metas and styles and how they're going to clash. But the nice thing, Riv, about today is that there's no real need to postulate about this stuff anymore, right? It's game day.
Right.
Now they're starting to get onto the stage, and we're just a few moments away from getting this bad boy started and hopping into map select. As you can see, they've popped up on the screen. Sharks are going to get the first veto. NUTURN will follow shortly after, and just like that, we know Icebox is off the board. We'll see what NUTURN...
NUTURN enjoys that. They'll take it.
Yeah, and now that's split. So we're going to get some order of Bind, Haven, and Ascent. Riv, early thoughts on the 2 bans?
Seeing NUTURN ban split means they're forcing it towards the next 3. One of NUTURN's favorite maps is Haven, but you do not see that. They have only 3 Haven plays, I think, since January, maybe less, I think is our stat. But that's because it's always so late in the draft for their games in Korea, they just don't get to it. But now they have a chance to get to it, Doug.
Bind is going to be a good one as well, as we see that as the second map in this best of 3, which we can presume from here Ascent will be the last one that joins the fold. I want to talk a bit more, Riv, about Haven, as that's where we're going to be starting off. Sharks starting off defensively.
Absolutely.
You mentioned that there haven't been a ton of reps for NUTURN. They haven't played it since April 3rd.
Right. I said January. That was a lot of hyperbole.
But the point you're making is correct, right? Like, it gets so late into the series, Haven finds itself in map 3 oftentimes, so they never play it. But I think there's something interesting to look at from Sharks on the other side as well, and that's more composition-centric when it comes to Haven.
It's wild. They've literally played the same composition on Haven since January 26th. Tried and true, loving it, and it includes a Cypher and 2 duelists. So will they go back to it? Because NUTURN's composition, when we did see it, also included a Cypher. Things have changed. They haven't shown it that much. So what will we see for Haven? I love that it's going to be a toss-up, and NUTURN puts it as one of their favorites. Sharks loves to play aggressive, and we heard a lot of teams, Doug, saying it's interesting that there's been so much slow play over here. But what have we seen over the last few games? Plants takes at 30 seconds left in the round. Things are changing. The fast is slowing down, and teams are exploring how to play the meta here at Iceland, and I am loving every bit of it. We're almost about to get in the game, Doug. What else we got?
Well, I think something else to look at here, too, is when we talk about an international event, right, there's often metas that change, really, like, during tournaments at times. And I think when you look at Sharks, I think it was 63% of you were leaning towards NUTURN in this matchup. I'm honestly surprised that it's not more. to be honest with you. But I think the thing for Sharks here is you're coming into this series, you're coming up against NUTURN. People may not be leaning your way. Riv, if there was ever a time for you to show something different, especially on a map like Haven, where literally every bit of film you have is the same composition, if there was a time to throw something spicy in there, this is it.
And it's tough. You're going against NUTURN Gaming here, right? You have you have Allow, you have Lakia, who are considered some of the best players out there and have some of the highest headshot percentages over in Korea, and then followed up by Suggests, who is 33%. Funnily enough, the other team who has the highest headshot percentages, you would figure, is Team Liquid with Scream. But that's what Sharks is going up against. So they're going to need names, we'll say here for Sharks, Donaru. His Sova play is so accurate for the team and helps the plays revolve around the information, and you'll see him picking up 2-3 kills. Gabshis, you have to say the name. If you're coming from that region, you know exactly who he is. He's the jet player. He's the highlight guy. Like I said, he's qualified for World Championships before, but has never had the chance to travel to them due to issues. So this is the chance we see Gabshis now open up for Sharks. Again, Frosten, we haven't talked too much about him. We'll see him setting up a lot of the Sentinel play, a lot of the Sky play, and everything else around the map for the team, and being a big info grabber on that side of Sharks. He's the Killjoy this time, as you see, and we're getting locked in here, Doug. I'm excited.
Your Prime Gaming Agent Select on full display, just a few moments from kicking this bad boy off. And there's really, I mean, Perry on the Astra for NUTURN. That's something that we haven't seen in a little while. Actually, they haven't run that very much at all, right? Like, there are two more prevailing compositions. Neither of them included Astra, so we're already starting to see some changes. And then, Riv, we're seeing some changes out of Sharks, too. Look at Gabshis. He's on Sage.
That is not at all what we have seen from him in a long time. Like we said, 19 times in a row, Sharks played the same composition, starting off here now with a default, but look at NUTURN wanting information right away.
Oh, I love that. And it's not even just wanting information. I think we're going to see from both of these teams a heavy investment in fighting for A control, both in short and long. NUTURN full sending and applying so much early pressure. And interestingly, oftentimes we'll see teams rotate away from that and go towards C, but it seems like Sharks want to hunker down and try to take this fight.
Doug, setting the tempo. NUTURN is saying, we don't even want you to think about your strat. We've already taken out Frosten. That's a lot of the control that's going to be on the flank. Now you need to fight the rest of them as they come in, and Sharks is doing their damnedest to hold this position. With the spike on the other side, that's about to be seen by Perry on the rotation.
Yeah, this is taking too long. Right, like it took so long, and yes, you take a look at Light, he's gotten all the way into the back of C, but Perry has rotated around like two ships in the night. They've passed right by each other. Now they're on opposite sides, and they're about to clash around this spike.
Oh my God, the cat and mouse game right now. Nice job by Donaru. That was a definite and necessary pick. 2v1 on him, focused down to back alley. A attacker spawn side, and okay, Sharks are slowing it down. They're regrouping exactly what they need to do. A little bit of util used to grab this back, and we're going to have a bit of a reset in the round here. How does it play out?
See, Sharks, they have hightailed it over towards C, where Solo is waiting, but with 4 health, what do you have in you? Not much at all.
In the sight.
Allows the last one standing. Wall going to keep him at bay, at least for the time being, as the spike goes down.
What a play by Sharks to weather the storm so far. NUTURN getting themselves into murky waters back there. Didn't have all the angles. Sharks was still able to work around the map. And Pincer, after the fact, is I think NUTURN felt like they had too much control over everything. They didn't have the secondary was to kind of stay and pressure, and Sharks started to react. Great adaptation there to the first round to take pistol.
Very good adaptation. I think one other thing that we didn't draw attention to on the side of Sharks is Fra often plays the Cypher. This time has brought a Killjoy into the fold, so you can tell Sharks have definitely put preparation time in specifically for this map, as they're showing us something different for the first time since late January, and it paid off on the pistol.
Yeah. See what they do? Again, orb control by Lakia. We'll focus that. It was going to be one of my big ones coming in overall for the tournament. Are orbs going to be largely played around? So far, we see that is a yes here from NUTURN versus Sharks, as Prozine And Gabshis tries to walk up that A side, and looks like they're just going to play it slow for now. Spike is down in the beginning. They're saying, all right, we turtle for now, and we actually see what NUTURN wants to do each round. Will they push like that again? So this isn't Sharks being scared. This is them doing the turtle, figuring out what NUTURN is throwing at them. And this round, it's kind of just an info deny, and Sharks are going to have to execute.
Well, and Dog, let's be honest, I don't know that I mind if it's necessarily a little scared, because you don't know what you're walking into at this point, right?
Absolutely.
Like, NUTURN have this habit of when they lose pistol, they buy full sheriffs and they buy full armor. They could also be waiting with sheriff. Like, there's just so much that can be waiting for them on the other side that they're not prepared for. So I totally understand them cautiously kind of like navigating this situation. They felt things out, excuse me, towards A. Now they're going to rotate to C. Another ult orb in the pockets of Denaru, and they have.
He's also got the spike. He just picked it up on the way up, so he'll plant for another one.
Oh, that is a terrifying death ball. Woo. But I just don't know that they have enough firepower to really make anything happen out of it. And then the gun advantage that Sharks have is just a full display here as NUTURN are just down to 2 members left.
Strong play so far by Sharks. Not leaving anything to chance. Strong fundamentals, playing together, trading off each other, not running solo to just give a round up. There they are, the 1-2 back and forth as they work over each other's shoulders for the pie in the face to parry. The 3K there. It may not matter what Gabshis is playing here. Doug, 6-0-1, the known Jet player. Coming out of Brazil, now crushing it on the Sage. And we said he was one to watch. That was a Prime Gaming flawless as well. We'll see it again.
Yeah, you really can kind of understand why they're so highly touted. And when I say they, I really mean specifically Gabshis here. You mentioned it. It doesn't really matter what agent he's on. He just seems to find himself at the right place at the right time. That led to, as we mentioned, a flawless moment, courtesy of Prime Gaming. But now NUTURN find themselves with full rifles. For Sharks, they've got some rifles. Well, really just one in the hands of Denaru.
Ooh, you do not see too much full garage play on the start. Usually a fake, then a pull-out to grab all the util that you can. We'll see how many they actually commit here. Garage is usually an afterthought as the map has been spread, util has been grabbed. You have one person go through garage as the final take is going down. Here you see them use it as kind of a back and forth to see what they can get out and who might be in that area. Good intel so far from Sharks as they back up here. This is the bonus, so they want to kind of get as much out of NUTURN that they can, so they're not just finding Vandals and one Phantom down there on parry around the corner as they're holding, as you see, solo on a hard angle.
Cautious waiting solo should get some info there. And with time continuing to tick away, you have to understand there's a whole lot headed his way. Alal's going to get away from a precarious situation really by the skin of his teeth. You see the wall has gone up across B to deny any sort of information coming that way, and they might, they are going to rotate back to it. They have enough time. They've blocked off a large bit of info that would be coming in from C-Link, so they're going to be able to get the spike down. And this is going to be a chaos fight through utility. You see, he hasn't even been able to get the spike down, and the clock continues to tick away. He's gonna have to get on it soon. There's the spike. Leitch is able to finally plant it. Numbers advantage, still in favor of NUTURN, however slight. They're still there. Parry spotting where Denaru is able to land the shots to clean him up. Another one falls on the side of Sharks as the round drops down into the hands of Frost. He's gonna get tagged up. Locky on the defuse, and I just don't know that he can do much there between the utility that is coming from every possible way. It's just too much to handle. NUTURN are on the board.
Yep. I love the mind games coming out of Sharks. On that one, you see them going around to A. They fake a bit. Gabshis was able to create so much pressure there. Lucky is like, do I stay? Do we just play retake? And just like Achilleo said, that's something that's fine for NUTURN to think about, is playing retake. Because they're so strong, they use their util really well on the way in, and they come in from every angle. Also, holding B is really, really hard, especially after you've done so much around the map. So it was really in favor of NUTURN there. They picked up a round that should have been theirs. Also, the bonus, like we said before, so let's see what happens. Now we got rifles on rifles.
Rifles on rifles, and I think, Riv, we're going to learn a lot really from both of these teams here. This is where we see more standard defaults. This is where we start to see plays that may be dialed up. You see Lakia has the Hunter's Fury as Solo invests a bit of utility down A long. Nothing doing quite yet. And much like a couple of rounds ago, Riv, it is Sharks just kind of feeling things out, right? What are they going to get? What are they going to see from NUTURN?
And you'll see, if you look into C, you see how they're playing that. It's parry and suggest. You'll see NUTURN in that setup a lot. One will be in the front, draw attention, parry will peek. They kind of give you the 1-2 punch. NUTURN loves that situation. They play off each other so well, and you can see them not moving because they want that to be executed once they get in. You just have suggest drop, parry peeks. So around the map now, allow just controlling as we get Sharks into position for another move. You just have info being grabbed by Frau right now, seeing what he can figure out as they get into position, as everything is held here over at A.
Yeah, this looks like this is going to be an A hit. Again, with time in mind, there may not be much of an option to go anywhere else. And as we see, they've started to dash onto the site. Remember, Lakia has that Hunter Sphere. He has to stay alive, though, using a couple of shock darts to delay the plan, at least for the time being. And there's the Hunter Fury as well, but may have been a bit early. Yeah, Denaro's just be able to dance things around, but with 13 seconds left, now they're going to have to force the spike down. In a less than ideal situation, Denaro manages to get it down just in time. And now it's going to be an absolute bloodbath for the side of 4-on-4 as Prozen dances around the Cloudburst as that evaporates. There come the kills, and there goes the round win for Sharks. A 2-round lead early on.
Fantastically played on the way in. They take the site. They just start slowly smoking things off. And like you said, Lakia's ult kind of just comes out right away. They're able to dance around it. And I think at that point, you gain confidence as Sharks. You can take a little bit more forward of a position. You see the paranoia being used beautifully towards the end of that. And everybody peeking from whatever angle, having Light right under Hell, able to just paranoia that entire area. It was huge for that retake. So Sharks finding a way through the retake of NUTURN here as they do shut down the first gun round. And now we're on to some Sheriff buys for NUTURN as we head into round 5.
And while normally you look at this situation and you go, okay, well, we're likely going to want to give the round to the team that has the better artillery. And NUTURN are kind of gross with the Sheriffs there. That's something that you cannot count them out in at all. We'll see if they're able to light up the kill feed here. Allow does have that Blade Storm as well, but Perry is already dropped, and Solo's in a world of potential in a world of hurt here too.
Sharks just seem to have the read. I mean, maybe Denaru saw a shoulder there for a moment, but everything they're doing is slowly moving around, and it seems like NUTURN is shifting their position. That's all that Sharks needs to really get the edge on the site. This is going to be that round where Sharks will farm out the eco buys of Allow and the rest of the squad. There's one as they drop a few. This will be huge if we can get another. So Solo doing work here. He could really do some damage.
Then it's a 1v3. He's taken 2, and it looks like he's going to try to play elsewhere on the map, but I mean, Sharks have full control of the site here. They even have control of Long as well. While the first 2 kills were fun and they were flashy, yes, he's been able to upgrade.
Yep.
This is difficult. This is a big ask for Solo.
And Doug, look at how this is playing out for Sharks right now. This round, something they can capitalize. Prozine with the 4K coming up with his raise. Look how many ultimates they have now. As some are mounting on the side of NUTURN as well, Sharks can now start to capitalize and just domino those ults, one after the other. Maybe not everyone this round, a few this round, secure when it is going to be a gun round for NUTURN and continue to cripple their economy. NUTURN is a team that will play very much around their opponent's economy, running a hard strat right when it's going to reset them and they know they'll be on an eco buy. Right now, they're getting a taste of their own medicine, and Sharks is just, they have their number. We'll see if it happens here again on the gun round, if Sharks go hard and try to thwart this, or if they go slow. Allow with the operator here, round 6.
And mid-control early on, a narrow miss. Oh, Lakia's in a great spot. Lakia good for 1. Surely his position's been given away, but it might not matter. He gets a second one as well as Allow's looking to add insult to injury. The res is going to come up onto Prozine. I suggest tries to dance around the damage. Still has the showstopper in his back pocket, and Sharks, they get a little bit out of there, but then they're going to try to flip the map. Oh boy, here comes a good flash. A good flash, an excellent flash. Prozine had nowhere to go with that showstopper, and that negates an incredibly powerful and important ultimate.
They call that the peekaboo. Oh my word. He just dodged out, missed it, couldn't find him. Now they know there is a bit of commitment towards lower. Killjoy can always be a solo player because you're watching the flank, so they have to remember that. But what a start to this round. Sharks come out firing. towards B to start. A great push by Solo. Sharks kind of consider. They've gone mid. It didn't work. Check your flanks, and things get spiced up. Now we see what the audible is. They want to all go through garage here, and they have the rotation through A as well, but no one's going to meet up for a while, Doug. What is going to happen here?
20 seconds left, and Sharks really seem no closer to getting onto the site than they did at the beginning. As Allow just narrowly misses a shot. 13 seconds left. It seems like the only safe passage they have is onto B, an early Rolling Thunder as Solo looks to destroy the lockdown and take care of Fra as well. The spike looks like it's going to go down just in the nick of time. Allow with the op. Holding a tight corner.
Here.
Seeing if you can find anyone. A straight up 3v3 here for this site. Denaru still has the Hunter's Fury, but I mean, from that spot on the site, what can you really do? Excellent setup by Gashis as he's able to get 2 more, 4 on the round. Looking for the ace. Parry drops pros and gets the last. Sharks get to 5.
What great shots, setups, and by millimeters, walking in and out of the eye line of NUTURN. Around the map, into garage, getting a little more info, back out of garage, and back to the initial play of the round, Doug. Back to B, back to where it all started. What a round coming in here. And from both teams as well, we're seeing NUTURN claw back these rounds every bit, but Gapshis on the Sage. Holy moly, this guy is turning it up for Sharks right now. Round 7, 5-1, Doug.
Another Sheriff round. Denaru using that Hunter's Fury early on, and Prozen's going to take that opportunity to dash onto the site. Grenade good for one, the ult's good for another. This Prozen's looking for more. They've gotten onto the site. They've gotten on there really free. Lucky was able to take one a consolation prize. But that's all it was as Leish looks to get the spike down.
Spike planted.
Woo! This is the, that's the Sharks we saw in the VODs right there.
Yeah.
Just light the fuse, a firecracker right off the rip. They take that one. Was a round they should have been taking with the eco on the side of NUTURN, but they are really making it tough for NUTURN here. It's either going to have to be orb focus or a few more frags so they can start cycling their ultimates. 12, 2, and 5 for Gavshis there as they start off with this one, opening the site up and instantly executing. This is the kind of combination utility I love to see, Doug.
Yeah, this has been a very impressive start from Sharks, and I think one of the things we have to keep in mind here is when we think about attacking teams on Haven, they're often given the advantage, as it looks like we're in a pause. This is actually perfect. Thank you, production, for letting me explain this point. You often think about attacking teams having the advantage because of their ability to effectively manipulate defensive rotations, right? You've got 3 sites, you can make some noise, you can kind of pull them around, and then you hit once you've really kind of like a puppet on strings, right? You can control the way they're going to go. But I think the thing that's really impressed me out of Sharks so far, Riv, is that that's not how they're winning. NUTURN have not been like pulled around by eye candy and by trickeration. They're on the site and Sharks are just mowing them over. So it's a very different style. And the concerning thing is that it's working, and it's working really well right now.
Yeah, you know, I came in pound for pound, saying pound for pound, NUTURN stacks up better player for player. I think Leitch over Perry was one of the ones that was not, the 2-team controllers, but they are making me eat crow on that statement, Doug. Holy moly, Sharks is, everybody's confident in their shots. Communication is up, something I didn't see in their VODs. They're communicating so well aggressively and defensively. One of the things I noticed was that they would push up, they love to play aggressive, so their raise and their jet would show somewhere, and then it seems like none of their other defensive rotations would move. You know, they would stay, and then the site would get taken. Here, everybody's moving together. It's like watching a baseball diamond get manipulated by a play, and they're all in sync, and it's hard for NUTURN to stop. NUTURN definitely has the plays to make it happen. Again, we're watching Allow, Suggest, Lakia to all pop off. We do have the Cosmic Divide as well as the Hunter's Fury here. And with the money flow right now, they're at the 3-round loss. It's $2,900 that NUTURN is receiving. So you're going to see on that $3,400 for Allow this round if he loses that AK and a few others. Some $1,000 credits for the team, but this is going to be tough buys on Econ.
Oh, Rivian stuck it. Light was all the way up in heaven. You can tell as soon as that goes off, they want to go away, but he gets punished as soon as he finishes the ultimate. Allows fully online, folks, as he's already gotten 3 on the round. Sharks just down to scraps as their attempt at getting onto A goes absolutely sideways.
I think Allow realized that bank account might go in the red just in a second here, so he picked up a few $200 stacks to throw in there. Solo gets taken down by Gabshis, as he is always good for 1 or 2, and how many more will it be this round?
Slowly, quietly, tried
Player
cutting
standing.
noise, tried
Spike
giving
down
off the
A.
idea that they may be rotating away, but no, he was still there. Now the spike is
Yeah.
on no man's land. Denaru in a nearly impossible situation, and while it was exciting at first, Lakia got one, but the round still goes. So NUTURN, off the backs of Allow, seemed to get something going, but it really has been Sharks the entire way.
Absolutely. That was a needed round, and we kind of saw what it took to shut down Sharks in the moment after this. They, like we said, they weathered that pistol round. Then they came up with a few of their own rounds. The one we just saw previously was them tiptoeing around the absolute defense and eye lines of NUTURN. So they're finding different ways each time, but NUTURN's going to turn it up every so often. That's one of those rounds, and let's see if they can do it again to start the economy flow in their favor. Doug, they have to chip away at what Sharks has built here to really get back.
You see that, I mean, devastating. A shock dart, a slow warp, and a nade on that back corner. Fortunately for NUTURN, nobody was there. Surely they would have died.
Yep.
But for NUTURN here, they still have these 3 ultimates in tow. I mean, Sharks, they want to make real damn sure that there's nobody back in that corner.
They have res here. That's going to be difficult taking C. Always is if you're trying to get an open site like that under res if it's not a pick previously. Spike's still down, or I'm sorry, picked up by Leitch, but all the way back towards spawn here. And you can see that defensive play by NUTURN. Give a bit of space, feel more comfortable with the ults you have. No reason for Lakia to be just firefighting in garage. Hunter's Fury is there to take down the spike as it hits. Let's see if they can focus where that goes. It's going to be a NUTURN call. And again, Brazil, that region, a lot of the regions that are NA, EU, Korea, going super slow when they're known for going super fast, and it seems to be routing NUTURN. Here we go.
Lakia using the Hunter's Fury as the kill feed just like bleeds red. Sharks have already taken care of 3. Light is going to get the spike down. Solo shows up to the party and a bit late. Unfortunately for him, as E and Allow find themselves in a 2v5. No real access to the site. There's a wall that's denying any sort of entry from garage. And Riv, it was another impressive take by Sharks. The one thing that, the one pattern that we are seeing emerge here is that's a couple of times now that Sharks early on have hit a site, they've invested a lot of utility, they're making their presence known, and then they rotate out just a little bit to come right back to the exact same spot. And both times we've seen that, it's worked.
Single duelist, you know, Prozine doing what he can on the raise, but it's not a duelist we are seeing step up. It's Gabshis with the rest of the team as well. I mean, team effort, obviously, but you got to keep calling him out at the top of the scoreboard. We see Prozine right there behind him, being the duelist that he can, but Gabshis has been such a flank, info grabber, silent lurker. For a Sage to not be with the team, he's honestly playing that like Arena off in the distance without a blind, you know? And he can control a bit of the flow. We saw him put a few things up just to distract previously, and it distracted Lakia and B, and then they finally ended there at the wall. So the way he's playing Sage is incredible.
Oh, it was there. It was a beautiful setup. You heard the flash. You heard the blade storm. They dash across. Now the res is on there. And while the res does channel through, they know where it was. Solo's not able to convert onto any of that. And through the chaos, that was the first couple of seconds of that round, NUTURN find themselves in a 3v5.
Slowly moving it back. And it's a little bit of a push here from Lakia. He could be in danger. This is going to be a drone coming around. He'll get seen out. He hears it, and now he knows he might be in a pretty sticky situation, so he looks to rotate out, gets clipped. Leitch comes up with the frag there, and now it's going to be the movement towards A. Again and again, Doug, we see dwindled numbers of NUTURN trying to hold or retake a site here as Sharks is just able to open it up. But Perry says, maybe not this time.
Oh, Perry already good for 3, but only 4 bullets. And that's gonna run dry. Had a chance at 4, got cleaned up. Suggest Gabshies in a 1v1. Gabshies has been electric up until this point. Has the spike, has 30 seconds left, can certainly flip the map, and it looks like it's exactly
30 seconds left.
he's gonna do.
See you later, Gator. It's gonna be a wall right side. This could be a blast pack right up on top of the B. And then he shoots down onto him. Sees him for a second. Okay, so he just goes for the firefight. And that's a tough one to take against Gabshies. Suggest coming up short on that, and Gabshies just continues to show he's here to send a message with Sharks in their first game at Iceland.
I mean, 16-3, dude's feeling himself. And I think the other concerning thing here, Riv, is that NUTURN showed something different, right? They dialed up aggression. They tried a flash and dash with the Blade Storm. They threw something at Sharks that they have not seen before, and Sharks handled it effortlessly.
Let's see where they go this round. Setting up again to just kind of read what utility they may find. NUTURN wants to push the pressure. They'd like to do that on some saves, but they're also partially buying through here. Let's see if they continue to push. They know where a few are, and they can kind of figure out Sharks is playing this round slow. It's how far they can get up to see where Sharks would be going. Nice pressure from Allow so far. And this is actually how Sharks has been able to start picking apart NUTURN.
Yep.
Because now if NUTURN doesn't like what they found out, they start to back up, then they're not in position, and it seems to be when Sharks is pulling the trigger. They just have this timing down. So another 30 seconds. Let Sharks continue to do this. You figure out a few things, and we'll see their movement.
First bit of info that's been gathered is Allow gets tagged up, has to dash back. Meanwhile, I do like this from Solo, taking the middle of the map away, an aggressive denial of space.
Yep.
Out of the team from Korea, and he might be in a great spot to blow this up again. Riv, look at that. He's going to show up right behind them. If he goes undetected, he's going to flip this thing on its head. He's been spotted. Solo, good for 1. Backs away. Yes, the kill gets traded out of Prozine. There comes the paranoia. The dash out from Prozine as well, as he's able to connect it onto Suggest, looking for more. As they get onto the site again, NUTURN can't stop anything. They can't stop a nosebleed right now, as Sharks just continue to run over all of NUTURN.
Another 30-second strat from Sharks. Just walking the other team around. It's you don't get your first confident shot, your first angle, what your strat on defense would be. And Sharks is doing a great job at reading that and getting their way into the site. These rounds as well, they make sure they don't lose too much here. You got to give credit to NUTURN for taking down a few members. But with the way the rounds are going, that is just the money bags on the side of Sharks right now. So you're even going to need more than a few rounds, more than a few ults to tear through what they're able to buy round after round here. Gabshies not even really needed in that round, still 16-3. So the rest of the team coming up, you can see they're all working together here. And we'll see just again how they execute straight to the back, forced out. And it's on their terms. It really is.
I know I mentioned this a bit ago, but again, I have to touch on the fact that the most impressive thing about Sharks and their performance here for me is that NUTURN are showing them different looks, right? Like they're showing them variety and how they want to play things out. It's not this just like run your head against the wall and Sharks are just able to, right? Like they figured it out. They know the solution. NUTURN have shown them different things. You think about that aggressive peak down C long, you think about Solo getting behind them, right? Like there was a perfect pinch there. They were all sitting there and they had a chance to play around that, but Sharks just, the resiliency that they've shown, their ability to handle anything that NUTURN throws their way has been really impressive, Riv.
Looking at the VODs I did of Sharks and how they played to how they play now, it makes regional sense. It's night and day, but they play to their opponents. So if Vikings is going to play retaking and aggressive, that means Sharks had to push forward and go for a little bit more. I think that's why we saw more of that. Now they play to NUTURN, who wants to play a little structured, ready to get into a site. And they're saying, okay, we'll wait too. We'll see if we can draw your util. And it's a complete paradigm shift from what we saw from them in Brazil. So I think a lot of people are stunned right now at what Sharks is bringing out. NUTURN still trying to find a way to adapt to it. Haven being one of NUTURN's favorite maps. This is even more of a pleasure to see from Sharks as well, coming in here to represent. And you gotta say, you can't forget, NUTURN takes down Vision Strikers to get here. And there's a lot of regions that have teams that were unexpected to come. So there's that pressure there. You know, people are expecting you to be able to represent. So hopefully NUTURN can shake that. And we've heard pros say, no matter who you are, where you are, it's been a long time, any land, first game jitters are there. And maybe we'll see those kind of shake off. But Sharks came out hungry, blood in the water, and they shook it off quick, it seems.
Yeah, they seem to be doing just fine. And look, man, like the Scrimbucks were not in their favor, right? Like that bank account was real close to zero because nobody believed, right? Like you talk about Brazil as a region, and you think, okay, Vikings, they're legit, they're the real deal, they're scary, and then Sharks were almost considered like an also ran. You know what I mean? But they've really impressed as they come out. And here's the thing, even with the composition changes that they're bringing into this, which again is really a testament to the work that they've put in preparing for this tournament. Yeah, they're still really good on Haven, right? Like a 17-2 record, 89% win rate. They know the map. They know the map really well. So you add that. You kind of stir that in, right, into the pot. Stir that in with the composition.
A little spice and everything nice.
Yeah, you sprinkle a little of that bad boy in there, and this is where you find yourself in a very impressive start from Sharks.
I gotta say, the strat calling that's been going out right now from Fra, the captain of the team. He's been able to play amazingly. You usually see him and Leitch not really having too much of a frag impact. You're like, whoa, what are they doing? But their survival rate is very high. They're info grabbers. They're helping the team a lot by relaying, and it's so big for them to actually be alive throughout the round because of what they provide to the team. And we're seeing Sharks utilize that and hardly lose members round to round with the way that they're guarding each other, with the way that they're trading kills. So I don't know what NUTURN does next. Turning up the heat doesn't seem to work. Sharks are turtling when they see that. They have switched up the sights a few times in which way things would be playing and the stars and whatnot. Like we said, we usually saw Perry go for Omen in these situations. Astra would be for Ascent for NUTURN in the past, and they guard orbs very hard. So here it's been a bit of an orb game. That fell off a bit, and we'll see if teams get back into it here as attack pause seems to be almost coming to an end. NUTURN's pause as well, I believe, as they're chatting it up. They're looking to see how they can right the ship here as Sharks keep taking chunks out of the boat.
If you are just joining us, ladies and gents, welcome. Thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Hi, hello.
You've missed a proper shellacking out from Sharks as they've really dominated NUTURN up and down the half. They started off on attack on Haven, and there were a lot of question marks for both of these teams, but I mean, I'll be honest, more so, in my opinion, from Sharks, and they've answered every single question that was thrown their way. I believe it's 9-2 right now, and the one, like, saving grace, in my opinion, the one window in which I can see this turning out into a very competitive map is that NUTURN are very good on the attacking half as well. So they can certainly test their mettle on that side, but I think the game that you're playing at that point, if you know that that's your win condition, is how much damage can you mitigate in this point? And if that's the game that they're playing, Riv, up until this point, they've lost.
Oh, Doug, you reminded me of the stat that it kind of surprised me that when we went and looked at these maps for Sharks, their defense was actually a higher percentage. And you're like, wait a minute, but they're aggressive. So it's unfolding quite nicely for them if they can do better on defense on these maps than their attack time after time. Oh, upset it. So Dark goes out. Whoa!
Just a bit outside.
I think I just saw that go over my house.
NUTURN
this one's go slow to start.
NUTURN do have a couple of key ultimates in their pocket. They have that Cosmic Divide and then some entry as well. While Sharks are certainly no slouches in that department, we see this fight for A control continue. Now Solo's in a great spot here, and Perry's on the other side as well. Depending on what utility they dial up, there may be something going on here. Here comes the Rolling Thunder.
My word.
Knocked up. Oh my gosh, Brosen does it again! He takes care of Lakia and Perry. That's gonna give him access onto A. Riv, everything that NUTURN are dialing up, Shark handle it, and they throw it right back in their faces.
Usually Solo's breach, or however they work it, Suggest or Solo, who's ever playing it, is the one to start the play, to make it work.
Yes.
The fact that we see Shark shutting that down is huge. Those are curated plays they're ready to make, and Sharks is just reading it. Walks through, can't hear it with all the commotion. Prozine gets another one, 3K on the round.
Woo.
Pull, shot out of the air.
Allow in a 1v4 against Sharks. It's West Side Story all over again as you hear the ult. Gets
Spoopy.
cleared out. Allow looking for a little bit more. The dude's a sitting duck here, Riv. I mean, they've got him trapped down. They know exactly where he is. Powerful weapon in tow.
Final round, gotta jump it, gotta make something happen. Timing. Light gets him, takes him down 10-2 as we swap the sides. And remember, we were talking about the compositions these teams used to play, how much they used to play it, when they used to play it last. And we were saying that we saw Sharks play the same composition since January. And they only lost twice with that composition. But they switch it up here. They go from double duelist to single duelist, high utility, and they seem to be able to just walk around everything that that NUTURN has here. When they're confronted with NUTURN, they outshoot NUTURN. I don't know how to stop that package, Doug.
It doesn't seem like they do either. Again, you take a look at the timeline, that really tells the whole story. And in fact, that's probably not fully representative of just how impressive of a masterclass Sharks have put on in the first half. But now we mentioned, if NUTURN were to do it, this is it. But you've got to start strong here. The hole that you've dug yourself is far too deep to really allow for much error at all. The margin is very thin.
All right, I'm expecting a playoff Lakia's dart here when it will come back up. The team here to just absorb info. Nice job by Sharks already to gain so much ground. Just being here allows the rest of the team to make some small decisions. And as they look to trade each other, pop out, that's going to be the real and deal. Perry and Solo come up with 2, and they have a bit of ground. Do they instantly act on it? Oh, my word, Frosten.
You can see Perry there with the spike, wanted to go C, was actually on the way, and then Frog gives Solo the business, left, right, good night, and then now Perry rotates away, and it looks like they're going to want to hit A. They do have a star. Both stars actually denying info early on, but with 40 seconds left, Donaru, oh my gosh, Donaru gets destroyed out of Lao, dashes onto the site, manages to get the kill cap. She's looking for something, not going to make anything convert. Fra left alone in a 1v4, nowhere near the site. Perry's going to get the spike down as well.
30 seconds left.
This is an important start for NUTURN for them to get back in this map.
That was very, very big. It helped them out a lot that they were able to take a few down across the map and know that that was some big retake that they would have Sharks would have brought back to A to make sure they brought that back in. So you take down Omen, which blinds smoke angles, and you take down the Rays, which Roomba nade displacement. So really well played in the start here. 2v2 trade, and then to get themselves back into A. NUTURN start off strong. We don't have the buy from Sharks. We saw recently they didn't. A few series before Challengers Finals, they were big second round buyers after a loss, but they have seemed to change their ways. Ooh, big push though. Holy moly, Sharks in the water.
Heavy aggression out of Sharks. How will NUTURN respond? Thing is, if Fra can delay enough, we can get something going there. They are going to have access onto the site. Alau's going to dash in first again. You see them clear out that back corner of the site. Common place for things to be anchored. The jig's up. They know that the flank is coming around. Lakia has got to be one of the important lines of defense. He is good for one. Somehow survives through all of that. And then Perry gets the last one pushing in as well. The spike goes down. Alau cleans up Fra. And through all of that, it's another round win for NUTURN.
They needed it. You got to pick up those rounds without losing too much. NUTURN finds that. Let's see how the teams start to stretch each other thin now. We're back into making those hard plays, fakes, and trying to steal everyone's util before you make a hit. 16 for both Prozine and Gobcheese. Just fragging out, feeling it right now. Like you said, they're vibing. And that is why we mainly see this score line. We'll see here if NUTURN can turn it around. They're the ones attacking. And we are about to head into round 15.
couple of rounds in the books. You see them riding a little bit of a bonus. Allow has the Spectre, but rifles the rest of the way, and some pretty early aggression towards A.
Good damage. Great damage on that. Look at the health bars. Oh my word, did you just call this or what? You think it's a choose your own adventure? It looks like Sharks is just reading the same book page for page here. Gabcheese picks another one up, and now they're gonna have to fight over A a little bit more, Doug.
Player standing. Spike
4.
down A.
Looking for another Gabcheese. I believe this is the second 4K of the map for him. Fra, I might play spoiler again. I think he was the one who took the ace from him the last time. But Locky has been spotted. They know where he is. Gabcheese, they're trying to serve it up to him. They're trying to give it to him. But Locky somehow gets away with nothing but 27 health. He doesn't have the spike. He's just running for any sort of solace he could find. This round is going to go in favor of Sharks. For Locky, a consolation prize, get one step closer to having that Hunter's Fury online. But I think this is an important round for Sharks because you can start to feel some of that shift, right? Like NUTURN get a couple of rounds on the board, you're starting to feel them click, and that's a big response from Sharks.
A little bit of hunting to end this one out. Why not? The money's in their favor, and they're feeling good, especially on this first map. You're able to get on the opponent's pick, make sure they feel the pressure, make sure you send a message to start off your best of 3, and possibly send your opponent down there to the lower bracket if you can get the second one. Here, Gabcheese pushing out a little bit. Like, just like, who comes into my house and tries to do that? Just shake his head no. All right, so we're getting in there, round 16. Let's see where the money stands. The 20 bomb has been dropped by the Battle Sage of Gabcheese here coming out of Brazil. And we just see the beginning of this, Doug. It's like they read everything about they wanted to do.
The opener was gross. And you see like how Gabcheese got so close to that ace. It was just filth. It was pure filth.
Wow. All right, so a flip of the rounds there. That means it's only $1,900 going to the side of NUTURN. Look how much this messes up their buy. Yep. When you don't get the full buy, but know you need to pressure, this is the kind of situation Sharks is creating with that quick buy again to flip-flop the money. And Sharks knows it. Sharks knows they can play safe here. They know they're against an odd buy, and they don't have to go wild.
For NUTURN, you can tell they wanted to hit B. They invested the shock dart to clear out any potential killjoy utility that could have been sitting there, any nano swarms, any alarm bots, common spots. The one thing they weren't able to clear out, which is still up and kicking, is the turret. As things go eerily quiet, NUTURN mulling over where they want to hit this play, and Fra, Spidey sense is tingling. There may be something going on here, and he would be right.
Moving around, so switching the Sova and the Sage to make sure their slows on B and all the attention on Vision and Intel on A now. I think this is going to be the fault line through and the flash as well coming in. Are they going to try to hit it?
So much time has passed, so patient as they try to get onto the site, and so far it seems like patience is a virtue. Allow manages to get on there, manages to get the spike down, and gets away with his life. So now we're going to see this insane fight, and take a look at Perry. Perry has to win this gunfight to give them the room to breathe, to control Garage. That's often such a highly exploited area of the map to deny things, but Rave, they may have gotten too far off the site. There's nobody watching things right now. Rosen looking to try to get the diffuser, try to wallbang through there and deny things, and so far, it seems to be working. I don't know the Sharks are going to be able to get in at this point. Denaru in a good spot. Denaru good for one.
Sovas!
Tee him up. There's a second. But a great round. A great round from NUTURN.
Honestly, they had to pull that card out. Face to face, they have not been able to do much against Sharks. If you can get under their skin and make it work without them seeing you, do it every time, even if it puts you in that moment. Because with the retake we see, NUTURN what they're able to produce, you can play retake on a planted spike as well. So there, they get out, play retake on it if they even need to, but more so hunt the rest of NUTURN or Sharks down at that point. So great job. Lakia doing his best. Oh my word.
All right,
Frags like that.
NUTURN have found some recent success. And Prozen looking to stuff it. Blast Pack's aggressive. The flash was there. Prozen good for one. Hunter Fury's going to come out as well as Denaro joins.
Oh my gosh, Sharks.
Denaro using one of his own as Lakia manages to get a kill. We don't know if Denaro's going to find the same success, but what he did do was clear out a good bit of space. Light's the only one without an upgraded weapon here. Fra going aggressive. Fra good for it. Lakia drops the spike, but Perry right there at the exact right time to help things out. The res is going to come through as well as CEST is trying to stop any more aggression coming in from Sharks, but Light gets dropped.
CEST was super low. That was a very big trade to take Lights down. And we saw it was Sharks picking up a few of those weapons, able to make themselves a bit stronger here on the defensive round. Now they push through to grab a few more, make sure none of those are Spectres. The plant goes down, but Perry is the lurker. Like I said, the quiet info gatherer with the high success of life chance. And there he goes, lives once again. Nice shot by CEST. This could leave it up to Perry. And here's coming Gobshis, 1v1.
Gobshis healing up. Perry just kind of has to play this patiently. So going to rotate over. Gobshis with the tap. The gravity well is going to come out. Just narrowly missing as you see all of that utility used to buy time for Perry to show up. Gobshis in the 1v1 looking to answer the call, and he does just that as he's going to get the defuse and get Sharks to map point.
The wide peek from Perry. He thought he may not have the angle, or he might be around the platform there. 12-5, game point for match 1. And another round that comes down to the wire, frag after frag. You see the scoreboard here, who's been able to put up, who's been able to help out. And you see the clutch coming in.
It was beautiful across the board. Again, you see that aggression early on, and the thing is, like, the 1v1 that Gobshis finds himself in is so self-created to find himself here in this I mean, gorgeous clutch moment powered by Red Bull that just, I mean, really puts the icing on the cake. You understand why we've been talking about him so much. It's because he's been able to do stuff like that. NUTURN are calling in another attack as they, I mean, they feel the pressure at this point, facing, I mean, staring down the barrel of going down 0-1.
Absolutely. And for the money to go back and forth like this at these rounds and have Sharks capitalize on one, NUTURN capitalize on one, you get $1,900 when you lose that first round, 3,000 for the win. And it'll go up 500 each time. But they're trading off giving each other $1,900 for that round plus 200 for whatever kills. What I'm trying to say here is with what Sharks has built up, that doesn't really affect them. They've just gotten to the point where a few of their buys are off. You'll see them on Econ here. And that's where NUTURN has been able to chip back a little bit. But it's hurting them even more as it goes back and forth. So Sharks is doing a good job at not letting a flow happen for NUTURN at all and always sticking their foot in the door. There's a lot of things going on there with the way Sharks is trying to stop NUTURN, and whether it's util, whether it's econ, whether they're just going for the throat because they know it is an eco round and they're sending a message. NUTURN doesn't really have an answer.
No,
played
and
the shot.
go ahead, Rick.
No, he just played the shot. He played music on his areas. I love that.
10 seconds away from kicking off the round, and for NUTURN, it looks pretty standard, right? Like, there's nothing flashy that's dialed up. You don't see anything aggressive early on. It looks like it's going to be pretty defaulty, and they have plenty of ultimates to work with here. Gabshi's going to get tagged up by the gravity well early on. Bladestorm online for Allow.
See, they slowly move in. Again, we have not seen too much pressure towards Garage. We saw that said that at the middle of the map. It's usually just a util grab in and out. Looks like they may try to work it here as Allow goes in, dropped by Prozine to start, and the 1-for-1 for both teams.
Oh, both stoppers net kills as Prozine gets the second, not able to get, looking for the third, not able to get the fourth as the clip runs dry, but Perry looking to keep the map alive for NUTURN in a 1v2, has some utility, doesn't have the spike, but understands where the push is coming in from. Perry's not able to do it. Denaro and the rest of Sharks strike blood first as they take a 1-0 lead.
What a dominating game from YNG Sharks. It looked like some of those plays were just on download. The one where they went A, they ate a nade. Gobshis comes up with a quadra, almost the ace, but Lakia runs away. Other rounds when they were running the attack, They ran the entire map. This is Sharks, run the entire map, go back to Garage, and then with 10 seconds left, go back to the initial B strat that exploded at the beginning of the round. The mind games, Sharks are playing here. They're playing with their food, they're swimming around it in the water, and we'll see if NUTURN can break off the floaties and start punching back here in our second map.
I mean, a hell of a performance, Riv, from Sharks. And, you know, we talked about map stats coming into this. We talked about the composition changes, but I think bigger than all of that, yeah, the battle stage was obviously a huge deal. But I think the biggest thing to take away from all of that was Sharks just played with swagger, man. Like, they played bold. They knew what their game plan was coming into this, and they really played it to perfection. NUTURN felt like they were a step behind the entire way. And look, I don't know many people who walked into this map, into this series, thinking that that was going to be the outcome.
Lothar had a 1 in his prediction, so
he did.
Maybe Lothar, but no, I did not expect this, and the VOD reviews did not show this. We are watching regions clash now, and how that is working out. That's kind of why I was like, Scrimbucks, they may not mean anything. We're about to see land for the first time. It's been a year of these teams building themselves, swapping rosters, becoming huge caliber players in their region. And now they get to send a message. And honestly, that was postmark send from Sharks. They sent that quick.
They did. That message has been sent on map 1. We'll see if they can do the same and bust a couple of brackets on Bind, which is going to be map 2 just around the corner. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.